in any case, it's not an expensive way of eating. Actually, when my first 4 or 5 years of macrobiotics, I kept a very rigid or specific list of all my expenses with the foods and compared it to what my brothers or others were eating, and it was much less expensive. It's, in other words, grains and vegetables and beans and seeds and nuts and fruits, they're not really expensive foods. It's when other people are buying milk and meats, these become very expensive over time. And for some people, they may buy more other expensive particular items, like they may like rice milk or something that costs more, but it's not really necessary. It's more like a treat.
Okay, so in that case, are certain foods macrobiotic as opposed to other foods?
It definitely looks that way. Certain foods are not macrobiotic. Now this is, to me, a very important topic. It sounds like for a couple of reasons. Because the question at hand is macrobiotics vegetarian or vegan? Or does it include some animal food? And if so, why and why not, and which, and how to make that work? Macrobiotics says, in truth, that the core understanding of macrobiotics is all food is potential food for humanity, animal or vegetable. It's just that we as humans need to be selective and understand that we need mostly vegetable quality foods and not much animal food. That modern people, the whole problem is too much animal food, which then leads to wanting lots of sugars or alcohols, for example, to make a balance. But if we're not eating so much animal food in the first place, we don't want all these modern sugary foods and don't need them for health or happiness. So my point is, macrobiotics, in truth, accepts that there can be animal food as part of a healthy, vital human diet, but some people can be fine being vegan, and if you want to be vegan, then macrobiotics is the best way to be vegan. But to say macrobiotics is vegan, no animal food, is not true.
So instinctively it would seem that regardless of what we choose to eat, whether you're macrobiotic or not, it seems that we seek balance within the foods that we eat. How does the principle of yin and yang relate back to this balance that we're seeking?
So, you're right. Instinctively, not only is everyone seeking a balance, but they're going to get it every day. It's just that a lot of people have no sensibility about it. So they're just eating and drinking based on habit, family history, and emotional pulls. And so, but in the end of the day, someone's going to feel balanced, if not bloated and overfed, but undernourished in a certain sense. The macrobiotic concept of balance is that we can be more conscious of the nature of foods and the forces it puts in us. So for example, a good easy example is salt. If you eat a lot of salty things, you're going to want more liquid or beer or alcohol or sugars to balance that salty nature, or oily things. So the salt in macrobiotics is seen as more yang, more contracting, more drying, more intense, and then you're going to want something more yin, more liquidy, more sugary, more oily, that's more expanding. And once we learn some of the nature of what foods are more yin and yang, we can take more conscious control. Control is not a bad word here. It's not like depriving oneself. It's getting mastery of food. And that's part of our intention behind consciousness with food. So that we're not just driven by strange and strong feelings that foods can create. We're more aware of their forces so that we choose more sensibly, less extremes, basically. And if that were all it was, to make balance, then anyone could do it. But the issue ultimately is that food is not the only thing that we intake. We take in emotions, we take in stresses, we take in a lot of other vibrations, whether it's a sound vibration or cell phone vibration, and these are all impacting us. And ultimately, they make us more yang, tense, or they make us more expanded. And as we see how that goes, we can create greater harmony. Harmony, to me, is different than balance. Balance is a theoretical point of I'm right in the middle between yang and yin. But harmony is I'm in a context that allows me to weave between the yins and yangs, the ever-changing waves of life, in a way that I don't lose my center, my deeper roots.
Okay, and if that macrobiotics is a practice that you develop with mastery and you develop a consciousness around, is it something, how long would it take to achieve that? How long does it take to become macrobiotic?
Well, on one level, it takes just instantly, just by change, choosing to change with more consciousness and using foods with a more awareness and recognizing that other things are food besides the physical food, the emotions and such, and just being more aware of our life. It's an awareness of life, and it's a taking responsibility for our lives. So a good example of not taking responsibility on a small scale, someone says, I have a headache, I don't know why. That's why I take this over-the-counter pain medicine. I'm not saying it's wrong to take the pain medicine, but it's a mistake to say, I don't know why. That we can learn from, because something we've done is part of the cause. And we don't get symptoms without there being some cause. And the higher level of consciousness that I consider macrobiotics is a willingness to learn from our symptoms or body, so that we don't repeat and repeat and repeat problems. We grow from them. And that's a macrobiotic consciousness to me, by taking that responsibility. Then in an instant someone can be macrobiotic. It's a change of mindset. It's a different awareness of our being that's more integrated physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Seeking that in our lives.
Wonderful. Thank you, Michael.
Well, thank you.